morning, everybody. Jordan Nielsen here, co-hosting Funding Friday with Andrew Augustiniak.
Going down.
Of the Augustiniak team of People's Mortgage. We got to do all the full disclosures. And then on today's show, we have, I guess, introduce your guests today.
Tina and Jason Valiant of the Valiant team of Keller Williams and some group in Florida, right?
That's
Florida
right.
International or something?
International.
Dual states right here.
Coast to coast.
That's impressive. All right, so Keller Williams, Arizona Realty. Anyway, so on today's show, we're going to be talking a few different topics. Primarily, we're going to be talking about open houses, making them successful, and some other things. So first, I guess we'll give you guys a couple minutes to introduce yourselves and tell us how long you've been in the business and what you guys have been up to.
Bill, you want to go that?
Yeah. I'm Tina Valiant, and I have had my real estate license in Florida for almost 14 years. We moved here about a year ago to Arizona and can't be happier. The market here is amazing, and we decided to join Keller Williams Arizona Realty here, and we love being there. I mean, it's just been awesome support.
So before moving to Arizona, were you guys at Keller Williams in Florida?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, we were kind of on our own. We had a broker, but we had our own thing going on there. We had a full team there as well.
So moving from Florida to Arizona, what were some of your biggest challenges? Or, because actually a lot of real estate agents may consider moving markets. It sounds like you guys still have a foot in Florida and here. You guys are international. You guys are in dual different markets.
Right.
But moving into a new market area, what were some of the biggest challenges in moving over here? You guys have been out for what, a year?
Meeting people.
Yeah,
we didn't know anybody.
Which I always think is probably a benefit, though.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, we just started at Keller Williams the beginning of February, actually. So even though we've been here a year, we weren't doing real estate here. We were closing up our transactions that were all short sales in Florida.
Ah.
So we had 26 of them last year.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Out of curiosity.
26 short sales?
Yes.
26 short sales.
Okay, so now I got to know, how's Florida market compared to here now, though?
They still have distressed property there.
Okay.
It's a judicial state, so it takes them a lot longer to clear through those. They can hold them up to 5 years there, whereas here we turn them very quickly, which helps our economy here much better. But the average price of homes there is way lower than the average price of homes here.
Really?
So all of our friends in Florida are like, well, maybe we need to move where
Arizona.
you are because you guys are killing it
And
over
you're
there.
like, yes, you do.
I'm
right
like,
away.
sure,
Let's
come
go.
along. Let's just set you up right over here.
How do you like the weather?
I actually like it. I went back to Florida a few weeks ago for my younger daughter's graduation, and it was even balmy in the morning. Like, I was like, how did we live here?
Yeah.
I can't believe we lived here. I was miserable. I could not wait to get out of there. So I don't ever see us moving back to Florida, ever.
I love the West Coast.
Yeah.
It's beautiful out here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, one thing, I've been to Florida one time, and they have huge bugs, and I thought that was interesting.
Yes. No, I thought
Right?
scorpions were going to be huge
Right,
out here.
right.
Those things are tiny.
Tiny,
There's
right?
nothing to be scared
I
of.
was like,
Man, we
whoa,
got
there's like
cockroaches
fly-
bigger than that.
I know, right?
Flying cockroaches.
Yeah.
we got
you
flying
got crocodiles.
Yeah. You can't take
You
Fido
got
for
more
a
to
walk.
worry about over there.
And you have wolf spiders that are like this big. They're really
Oh my
scary,
God.
you know?
Yeah, but here you got those jumping cactus.
Yeah.
So you got to watch where you go.
Okay,
Okay, that I don't know about the whole jumping cactus.
Dude, they attack you. We were freaking out on our horse ride one day. You took
They
me on
make
a
it
horse ride.
sound worse than it is.
Oh yeah, I was
probably.
like, no, don't go near that. Don't go near that. We were trying to guide the horses away.
I will say, if you get stuck by one of those, it is a pain to get out.
Oh, man.
Because they have the little barbs on the end. So even though they don't literally jump on you, they feel like they do because that thing just sucks onto the moisture. So
We just want to avoid that.
Yeah.
We're just going to avoid that.
So let's talk a little.
Wait,
So
hold
Jason,
on.
well.
We didn't get to
Oh
introduce
yeah,
Jason.
yeah.
it's
No,
all
that's
about.
what I'm saying.
This is the Tina
that was-
Valiant
No,
special.
I'm
Yeah.
like, Jason, it's your
Yeah, that's
turn.
what I was gonna say. So how do you come into the picture, Jason? Have you been in the real estate? I guess introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Have you guys been in real estate
So
together
I'm
the whole
Jason
time? or
Valiant,
what?
yeah. So when we met, we actually met over 10 years ago in real estate together. We were friends on Facebook. And then 3 years, almost 3 years ago, I asked her out to lunch. And we got talking, and then we realized she was doing so many deals and I was doing deals on our own. But we're like, well, why don't we just do this together? You know?
Who is winning?
I was definitely winning.
I
I was winning. I don't know. Our old broker said together we still made up half of an agent. So.
No, he said we made. No. This is what he said. He said we made one hell of an agent together.
Yeah,
Just
together.
one
We were
agent.
almost a hell of an agent. So yeah, so we just did our thing last 2 years. But out here, it's incredible because there's over 200 families a day moving to Arizona.
Yes, it's
So
crazy.
that's why the #1 market. That's a big reason that we've been so successful is just out meeting people.
Well, before we talk about that, okay, so did you guys do a cross transaction together? Is that how you met though?
No.
Is it purely through Facebook?
Through Facebook, I just
Wow.
saw her. I saw her beautiful blue eyes
Whoa.
over and over, and I was like, man, I want to talk to this girl. So I just asked her out to lunch.
That's
And I
why.
said
That's why
no.
you're the
But I
director
waited-
of socializing.
Yeah.
'cause
But
you
wait,
got the
I
smooth
said
moves.
no. I said I had plans and I was going for lunch and a massage that day. And he was like, okay, your loss. He was like, let me know if you ever have time. And I'm like, holy cow, no man has ever talked to me this way. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
So I responded back to him. I run 7 teams and I'm really busy. So if you'd like to schedule a lunch with me, you let me know.
Yes.
He was like, holy cow, no
You
woman's
guys,
ever
like,
talked to me this
Two
way.
A-type personalities, like being like, whoa, this person's talking to me like that, and whoa, this person's talking to me like that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we're a power team, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
it was awesome. Like literally 2 weeks later, we were talking, and he was talking about possibly combining. And I just looked at him. I said, "Well, I didn't want to scare you. We were literally 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to scare you, but we're gonna build a real estate empire, and you need to get ready." And that's what we've done. He was like, "Okay." Like I think 3 days later, we moved in together, and history ever since.
Awesome.
That was
Cool.
a good story right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Everybody has a unique story. I'm always
Everybody.
intrigued by.
Everybody. I will say at every meeting that I go to, and I asked this at our meeting, remember?
Uh-huh.
I asked how you got into the real estate business because we all come from different backgrounds.
Mhm.
And nobody, 99% of us don't dream of becoming a realtor or a lender or whatever.
Right.
But we come from the craziest backgrounds, from CEOs to people who worked at McDonald's right before this, and,
Mhm.
Right.
and you can make your own destiny come true. But well, when you said something about the 200 families moving to Arizona every day, I found this article. I want to get your take on it. So here's an article that says home rental shortage impacting Valley's housing market, and it talks about that only a year and a half ago, this is what's crazy to me, is that they did a survey on property management companies,
Mhm.
and those property management companies would say a year and a half ago they were having between average 60 vacancies from all their portfolio as a
Right.
product, and now they have like 3 vacancies,
Mhm.
and that's only in a year and a half. So what's your take on the rental market, how it's affecting this market now that you've come from Florida, and now you can kind of cross compare? What do you think
Right.
about it?
No, it's huge. That's a good question because I was reading that too. We just had a client that went to go get a rental, and before she was there for 3 years ago, it was like $1,000. Now she went and it was over $1,600 for the same unit she rented 3 years ago to go back to. So she was like, "Let's just pull my credit and get a house." I was like, "All right, call Andy."
Boom. Mic drop. The Augustiniak team of People's Mortgage, official
Yeah.
sponsor of Real Estate Pros Network.
All right, so now let's start getting into the nuts and bolts of the conversation here. So we're talking primarily about making an open house successful. We know that different agents have different perspectives on what they think makes a good open house. They got door knock or whatever. They got to put out 5,000 signs to get attraction.
Right.
What makes an open house successful in your guys' opinion? Or what has made them
Right.
successful for you guys? Not necessarily.
What's been for
new people.
probably is the consistency.
Yeah?
Is the big thing. We had agents say it didn't work before, or you can't sell one at an open house. But then when you ask them, they did one a month.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do anything like that. So we do 4 every weekend. So that's
Oh,
8
wow.
a month. So when you do that, then you can say, okay, in the last 2 months, we've sold 4 just from the open house.
Is there anything that goes into obviously there is stuff that goes into choosing the house, but what's your thought process of what open house to sit, what to do to prepare for the open house, how to
Right.
set up the open house, kind of give it like a brief overview.
Okay. So that's where the really value of having a team comes in. I don't know how agents do this on their own, because if you have a listing, you have to sit at it, then who's going to do your buyers? So we have a team. So we have multiple listings that are available, so new agents can go sit in a house, or if we have one that just had a price decrease. And then, of course, traffic where it is it's important. But having them available first. So having a team large enough that has good listings, that hasn't been on the market for 4 months, that's only been on the market for like 4 days, that's huge. Because then it doesn't really matter how far away it is. It's what people want. So if you have a good listing and then plan it, social media, door knock the week before, phone calls, and then follow up.
Okay.
We have a whole strategy though, as far as like when we list a property. Jason gets it all set up with our photos, with the signs being put out and everything. Usually goes on the market by Friday, and we set the open house that weekend. So we're usually there at a brand new listing from like 10 to 4, 10 to 6. Our team is required to sit open houses every weekend for at least 5 hours every day on the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday.
You didn't get pushback from anybody for that?
We have gotten pushback, and they can't be on our team. So that is the rules. That's how we do it, and we're pretty strict about that, because how else are you generating leads? So we do it that way because we also tell the story of the house. Every house has a story, and it's really the story that people buy. So when they come in, we don't like attack them. Do you have an agent? Do you, are you looking to buy a house? Are you looking to sell your house? A lot of agents do that when people walk in, and we don't do that. When they walk in, we're like, hi, how'd you see us? Did you see all those signs? Because Jason and our son are amazing at putting out signs. I mean, they put out signs everywhere, and they bring in so much traffic for us. But then once they say, like, yeah, we saw the signs, we're like, yeah, they're a little crazy about that. We get them to laugh, right?
Right.
Sorry, we use you at your expense.
All right.
And he's there sometimes. I'm like, yeah, see what he did, And he's in his shorts, drenched in sweat.
Now we know why he's really on your team, right?
Right.
He's a designated open house.
You saw the
setter.
muscles.
Yeah.
I'm like,
The
woo,
cardiovascular skill. Man, he can put out a lot of signs.
Yeah. So then we start going into, well, let me tell you the story behind the house. And right after we do that, our task tension comes down, because now all of a sudden we haven't become a threat. We're not attacking them. We're not asking them for their information right away. And then just recently we got the survey that, we asked them to please fill it out so they can give us information about the house. That was Jason's idea after going to a training with somebody, and we love it because they put their information on the top. It's very non-invasive. I let them know, listen, if you don't want me to contact you, just let me know. And they're like, wow, well, I've never had anybody tell me not to contact them. So that's good because of that. And then they fill out the survey as they're walking through the house, and then they usually will stay even a little bit afterwards to make sure they finished it, which is pretty cool. So we usually have, because of Jason and our son, probably 14 to 15 people in a day at our open houses.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And do you guys run them during the week as well, or primarily or you guys set them up during the week, and then you mostly run them on the weekends where people are out of work?
Yeah, because we've tried them on the weekdays. It's tough. Usually, if you're gonna do weekday, like a Friday night, that'll be good because people are happy. They got home, they got paid, so we can do that. But 99% of the time, it's on the weekends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One thing I gotta give you guys a shout out. So when I had a meeting with them a couple weeks ago, and it was actually at one of their open houses, and Tina actually told me the story of the open house, and I swear, like, at the end of it, I was probably like drooling because I was just engulfing the story. And I, like, the story you told, I don't care. I don't even remember. Honestly, I don't even remember what the story was. Mm-hmm. But I just remember you telling me the story, and that's what I mean. No, half the people aren't going to remember the actual story, but it's a connection that you made with me, even though I wasn't there looking at the open house, and we were just talking. Mm-hmm. She caught my attention just from the story, because no matter what it was, and I kind of remember a little bit about it, about somebody who would it be for?
The couple that lived there before, and they used to be the party couple in the
neighborhood.
There
you go. And everybody missed them in the neighborhood.
Yeah, because everybody would come over on the weekends for barbecues, and it was a huge lot. It was the biggest lot in the neighborhood, and everybody was sad when they moved, so they all come in and ask, they tell us about it and how they miss coming to the house and that type of stuff. And then GoPro bought the house, GoPro Interiors, and completely remodeled the inside, really to show off their interiors to the area of Sun City. And they did a phenomenal job just they really spared no expense on this house. And that's the story that we would explain to people as soon as they walked in. And everybody then, they're excited to go through. I'm like, so can you please give GoPro some information about what you think about the finishes that they did on this home?
Well, the part is when she tells that story about that specific house, you start imagining, like, you actually picture, like, the neighborhood hangout house, the party house where people would come. And so when she told me that, I was like, okay, like, this is one thing that you don't hear too much about doing open houses. The generic open house is you put out your signs, you put out your flyers, some cookies, you sit at the open house, you wait for people to come in, mm-hmm. and you ask them the generic questions, and usually they're turned off by it, but nobody tells a story. Mm-hmm. You got to learn about the house, learn about the product mm-hmm. you're selling. If you're selling a Wolf stove to a custom house, you're trying to paint a picture of how this is going to make your kitchen mm-hmm. look beautiful.
Absolutely.
And that's the one thing that stood out with Tina and Jason is they're painting that picture. And so if I were to say for all those new agents, you know, when you're being taught how to do things or joining a team like Jason and Tina's, look at who's teaching you to do things a little bit different in doing things like telling stories, not just throwing an open house, but telling a story, painting a picture, having people walk into this and letting them imagine themselves there. So that was a really cool thing that.
Yeah, I like the telling stories things, and then also, you know, that's probably not what consumers are used to saying, you know, if you don't want us to contact you, it's a better experience for those in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So they're experiencing a different thing than what the typical realtor does, you know, hound them after call, you know. But obviously that leads to more business for you guys by being different. So let's talk a little bit about how to build instant rapport. So who is this, Tina?
That's your part.
I think we're both really
We're good at that.
We're both really good at that. Jason has his blingy smile, so when he goes up to
The blingy smile.
All right, yeah.
he does. It's like he
look at the camera
smiles.
really quick.
Look, he goes bling.
Focusing on Jason. Show them. Oh, man.
The key
the
to
blingy
instant
smile.
report: smile with Jason.
It is.
Valiant.
It's actually proven. I read. I had
Maybe
a friend.
we made you blush.
The number one way to make yourself more attractive is to smile. Just that's it. If anybody remembers anything today, if you want to be a more attractive person, just smile to everyone, everywhere you go. It'll just change
better
everything.
to be positive.
Plus, it'll be positive. Yeah. Not just it just makes people happy.
Can you tell my wife that, Brittany? Smile all the time.
Yes,
or at least when you want to. Yeah.
Listen, behind closed doors, it's not always that way.
But you can try that. You can see someone just like, you know, at a bus or somewhere sitting down and they're just quiet, just sitting there. If you look at me, just smile, they'll smile back. So anyways, that's instant rapport.
So Jason,
Boom, done.
yeah, he's amazing at building rapport when he door knocks. Jason sets up appointments for me like nobody's business when he door knocks. I get so many listing appointments, and most people are afraid to door knock, right? Jason walks up to a door and just starts talking to somebody. And at first he gets a little nervous. Sometimes he walks around the block and like gets himself pumped up, like, okay, here we go, you know?
Especially if there's
Oh,
dogs.
you've seen him do this?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I have.
I'll go
I'm
up
like,
to
where
a
are you
door
going?
and get scared
You
and
got
walk
Eminem
around.
in your headphones.
Yeah, you gotta get pumped up. You gotta get ready.
Yeah.
Everybody's
it
home. They're
like-
happy and they want to talk to me.
Do you have a okay? I know you have a playlist for your workouts. Then
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a playlist for your door knocking?
No, I do like those affirmations.
Okay.
Everybody's home. They're happy and they want to talk to me.
Okay.
It sounds so
Okay.
cheesy,
Yeah.
but it works. You know, if you're just like, yeah, they're home. They want to talk to me. It's just how you say it to yourself.
No, it really is. It's really how you walk into the. I mean, I know, I'm gonna go back to the gym. When you go into the gym, it's how you motivate yourself to get up there. If you have that information, like, oh, I'm gonna kill this workout.
Right.
Same thing, right? You got to go into door knocking the same way. You got to go into open houses the same way.
And that's what I love about it. If you do the work, it'll pay off. It's just like at the gym, like they say the iron never lies. Like the weight is always the weight. You got to push it. That's the only way you're going to get stronger. So that door is not going to open itself. You have to knock on it. But I found if you just do it, they don't know what you're supposed to say. So you might think you suck and you're horrible, but then you get a listing appointment because you were just the one that had the courage to knock. And they're like, yeah, I was just thinking of selling my house. Actually, I'm repainting it right now. Then you open it up and next thing you got your shoes off and you're in the living room and you're helping them pick out colors and knock this down. And there it goes, all just because I knocked on that door.
So for a new agent, someone who is brand new, and they're saying, okay, how do I walk up to somebody if say it's not like they're shy, they don't know what to do, what advice would you give them?
Kind of like what you went to before, know the area. So I would pick, when we didn't have a listing, I just found a listing next door. And like, hey, this one was listed, and I knew everything about the neighborhood. I knew it was like $146 a square foot. All the other ones sold for $150 a square foot, so this is a better deal. And just how long it was sold. So we didn't sell that property, but I talked to the neighbors just like it was, and I knew about it, and I talked intelligently, so then that led to our listing. Then we did an open house, got another listing, and now we have them real. And now we can talk about it. But that's the thing. If you talk intelligently, then people will trust you. And if not, get with a team where someone can train you.
And that's another thing. We never door knock alone. We always have two people when door knocking. It's safer that way. We also typically have two people at our open houses. So we don't believe in doing anything by yourself.
Yeah.
And that's one of the benefits of being on a team as well. It's really hard to get motivated to go door knocking, do open houses, and all of those things when it's just you by yourself.
Yeah.
It's not any fun.
No.
So, and I honestly, I could never do real estate by myself, and I never have. And I wouldn't want to without Jason, because he makes it so much more fun for me. Like, we get to talk about it, and we get to strategize, and we get to plan stuff, right? So, even building the rapport with the clients and things like that, we talk about those things. Like, hey, I really messed up today. I should have went here with this person, but I didn't go here.
Well, it's always good to get another person's opinion. Say you're door knocking, and say you get turned down 5 times, and nobody wants to talk to you because, door knocking, you're trying to develop a relationship with that person, and let's say you're walking away from the house. Well, your partner is going to critique you, positive critique. Hey, from an outside opinion, here's what I think you were doing different. You sounded too salesy,
right?
Or you did this,
right?
And they'll pick each other up, and you keep going as opposed to.
Exactly.
Well, you have a story, don't you?
I do.
I saw it. Did you see that? I saw it. Give me the story. Give us a story.
It's really funny because Jason tends to be the more salesy person, right? And so he'll walk out, and I'll be like, "Why are you so salesy? Why do you sound like that?" It's almost like, what can I do to earn your business today? I hate that question. And it's almost like it's getting ready to come out of his mouth sometimes. And I'm like, that is not who you are. You are a professional who owns this. You know who you are. So you don't have to be that guy.
Yeah.
They're going to want to do business with you because you're Jason.
Because you're intelligent, you have a good smile.
It's a smile. Yeah.
It's the smile. I'm like, look at the blatant
Shout out to my
smile.
dentist, Alicia. You're awesome.
Shout out to the dentist.
Is she in Florida or Arizona?
Sing Smile Care
Okay.
in Phoenix.
My
There you go.
cousin works
Okay.
there, yeah.
Okay.
It's all in the family.
Yeah.
Well, give us a quick story about a successful door knock.
Oh, before we start there, I just wanted to ask, so whenever you guys go out and do door knock, do you guys have a strategy? Is it always to try to invite people to the open house, or will you just show up at a random neighborhood that you may want to be targeting and just start a conversation, talk about the listing down the street like you
No,
kinda
that's
mentioned?
a good point. That's a good point. Because Tina would say that too. Because at first we'd have our listings all over the place. Like everyone knows about a farm. Like, why don't you guys stick to a farm? Well, because we got a lead in Sun City, and then we got one in Black Canyon City. So you just have to go where the money is at the beginning. But no, once you have your door knocking, you want to try to be as intentional as possible. So if you have an open house on the weekend, you want to door knock on Thursday and try to get people involved. Say, hey, do you want to pick your neighbor? Do you guys want to come check it out? Stuff like that. And then, but we do it 4 ways. So you door knock ahead of time, and then you door knock the next month after that it's been listed or it's under contract. Then you do it another 3 weeks after that it's been closed, and then in 4 weeks after that, hey, we've closed it. Now we need more listings.
So it's typically around your listing.
It's around that listing, right?
Or even in our farm area, for instance, we just sold a home in our farm area, and so I took one of our team members out because she was like, well, do you know how to door knock? Because usually Jason handles those things. And I'm like, yeah, I know how to door knock. We know how to do everything, both of us, right? So I took her out. We hit one house. And the house, I just didn't have a good vibe about it, right? I was like, nah, I don't want to knock on that house. So we put the note on the door. We went to the next house. I knock on the door. This little elderly guy opens the door. And I'm like, hi. So we just sold the house down the street. We sold it for full price. I can tell you that because it was full price. And here's the deal. I have buyers for this neighborhood, which we do, and there's not any houses on the market that fit their needs. Do you know anybody in the neighborhood that would like to sell the home? Can you help me? And I always go from a help standpoint. Please help me.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, actually, I might want to sell my house. I'm like, really? And then all of a sudden his daughter was at the door, and she was really standoffish at first. So then it goes back to that building rapport. So we just talked to him for a couple minutes. Next thing I know, he's like, just invite him in. So let's just bring him in. So we go into the house. That's why we always have 2 people, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We go into the house. I'm talking to the daughter. We're talking about the house. She's like, it's messy. I can't show it to you. I'm like, okay. Next thing I know, she's like, okay, let's just go see the house. Yeah, let's just go walk around it. Okay, it's up to you. I can come back and I'm like, no, let's do it now. I always like to do my takeaways. Like, it's
Well,
up
it's
to
nice.
you.
Yeah, it's nice because even though she said it was messy, you say, okay, no worries, and then she's making the decision as opposed to you saying, no, it's fine, let's go see it, because that
Right.
comes off pushy, right?
Exactly. So I'm always very non-pushy, which is what he's like, you should be more pushy. I'm like, no.
Everybody
We
has
just
their
have
own.
different styles, right? So by the end, we're there an hour and a half. This guy used to be a custom builder, and he's showing us his whole portfolio of every home he's ever built. And my team member and I are just standing there looking at it, shaking our head and smiling, and, that's awesome. And so we're actually going back next week to list the house. She wanted to do a few things, get it ready, but she wouldn't have done that if we hadn't come in and started motivating them, I touch base with her once a week because, again, very non-pushy. And she continually contacts me and lets me know what's going on with the house and that they have family in town and those types of things because we built that rapport.
Yeah.
And that all works in door knocking, that works in open houses, that works in everything we do.
And I got a quick tip just for open houses. You want to wear nice socks. This is
Yes.
Yes, because
Yes, you
I took an agent
do.
like 2 weeks ago, right? And he was talking crap. He's like, "Oh, I'm like, because he was at my house, right? So I was putting on my nice like colored socks." And he was like, "Why are you doing that?" I'm like, "You gotta be prepared. You go to your door knock. It's nice outside. They want you to take your shoes off." He's like, "Oh, I didn't think about that." So as soon as we get there, right, nice old guy lets us in. Doesn't have any booties. Take
Yeah.
mine off. I got my nice colored socks.
Yes.
He has a black sock and a white sock.
You look like a fool.
Yeah.
No, socks.
I gotta go.
Are we done?
No, go. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say socks, and if you wear, you know how nowadays the new style is colorful socks,
Yeah.
pattern socks,
Yeah.
all that stuff, which is what I have. It's a talking point.
It is. And the girl asked me when I was in there one time, like a couple months before, at a listing presentation. We were doing an open house, but she wanted it nice. I took my shoes off, and the daughter noticed. She's like, "Wow, those are nice socks." She's like, "Did you come prepared?" I said, "Yes, ma'am."
Yes.
It's like wearing
She
clean
goes,
underwear
"Or did
just
you
in
just?"
case you get in a
She
car
goes, "Do you
accident.
just like that every day, or did you just come prepared?" I said, "No, I came prepared. You have to be ready, because otherwise, it's not gonna happen."
Socks, and it's funny because I remember this one class in college. It was senior year. It was at University of Nevada, and the professor, really old school business guy, right? And I wore this was a while ago, maybe before the sock trend really started. But I wore these colorful socks. We had to dress up for our presentation, and I was wearing literally just like gray shirt, black tie,
Right.
black pants, black shoes, black belt.
White socks.
No, I was wearing these lime green socks.
Oh!
Yeah.
So everybody knew where you were.
No, yeah, and I'm sitting at my desk, and before I come up, he goes, "Are you really wearing those socks?" And I was like, "Yes, sir, I am." He goes, "That is so unprofessional. It is black or navy blue, and that's it." And I'm like, "Well, I think it's a great talking point. You already talked to me."
So it's working.
And ever since that, ask my wife, I've never worn any black or blue socks
Really?
for like anytime going to work or anything like that, because I'm wearing flip-flops now. but that's a talking point.
That's
but
awesome.
ever since then, it's all about being different, right?
Yeah.
It's about being different from
And catching them off guard.
yes, and having
Yeah.
something to talk about, and it's an icebreaker, just like it is at the open house. A story, it's being different. So I will always remember that one comment where the teacher called me out in front of the class, and then I'm like, "Well,
That's
you're the
awesome.
norm in that case." But this is new era right
Yeah.
now. So
New
love it.
era millennials.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, it's been a very fun and very informational show today. Obviously, talking a lot about open houses, what makes them successful, how building instant rapport with Smile, and some other things. So, and some great tips around successful door knocking as well. So, if people want to get a hold of you guys, if they're looking to list their home or they need to buy a home, how do they get a hold of you guys?
Gotta give me your number.
They get a hold of me at 602-644-0591, or they can email me at tinasellshouses@kw.com. And also, I wanted to plug in there, we are looking for more team members. So if any agents actually are looking for a team that they want to join, I have been told we have the best comp plan in the Valley for Keller Williams as far as teams go.
Awesome.
So let us know.
Well, thank you guys for being on the show. This has been Funding Friday with Andrew Augustiniak of People's Mortgage and the Augustiniak team.
well, I'll see you guys next Friday.
We'll see you guys next Friday. Thank you guys for being on the
Thank
show
you.
today.
Thank you.
That was fun, man.
It was fun.
Yeah.
That was great.